Donald Trump Jr. is expected to take the stand tomorrow, the first of the former president's adult children to testify in the civil fraud trial against the Trump Organization. Over the next 7 days, Don Jr., Eric Trump, Donald Trump himself, and Ivanka Trump could all be pressed on inflated financial statements that the company allegedly used to obtain more favorable loans. The case could determine the future of Trump's New York businesses. Joining us now, CNN senior legal analyst Elie Honig, former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. Elie, first, do the Trump children have to testify?
They do, Jake. If this was a criminal case, a prosecutor can never force a defendant to testify. But because this is a civil case, the plaintiff here, the New York State Attorney General, can issue a subpoena, which is mandatory, which requires a defendant, in this case, Eric Trump's a defendant, Donald Trump Jr. is a defendant, to testify. Their only other option, though, Jake, is they can take the Fifth. They can invoke the Fifth Amendment and refuse to testify. But if they do that under New York state law, the judge can consider that against them. The judge can essentially say, I'm going to assume the worst about what your testimony would have done. So there's risk either way here.
So they take the Fifth. The judge just assumes that they have incriminated themselves to all sorts of crimes?
Exactly. That's the way it could work under New York state law. It's up to the judge. He can say, I assume that your testimony would have been bad for you here in this civil case. But the risk of testifying, in my view, is even greater, Jake, because if they take the stand, anything they do say can be used against them in any future criminal prosecution. Now, yes, various prosecutors have looked at this case and declined to charge it criminally, but the worry from their point of view is prosecutors can always revisit that and hear something perhaps in testimony and say, wait, let's reopen this. And to me, the biggest risk they're facing here is the potential of some sort of criminal liability.
What are prosecutors hoping to learn from Eric and from Don Jr., both of whom worked at the Trump Organization?
So with all the drama and personalities that are sort of coming in and out of this courtroom, the core issue here in this lawsuit is, did the Trump Organization intentionally overinflate the value of their assets and use those overinflated numbers to get loans and to get other benefits that they were not entitled to? And so when we're looking at what is the substance of the testimony going to be, the AG's office, who are the plaintiffs here, are going to allege you, the Trump children, you were in on this. You intentionally overstated the value in order to help your business. And I suspect their testimony is going to be, no, we did not. There is some subjectivity in the value of these assets, and there's some sort of inherent value in the brand name here. Now, the judge has already rejected that in part. He's already found that the inflations here were so vast that they cannot be justified. But that's going to be the battleground when the members of the Trump family take the stand.
So I'm told there's kind of a different situation with Ivanka Trump and her testimony. Why is that?
So she's trying to resist having to testify because she says she was correctly, she has said, I was dismissed out of this case as a defendant. She got herself removed from this case because the allegations relating to her are too old in time. That's a big win for her. But now Ivanka Trump's lawyers are arguing, well, she's not a defendant. She shouldn't have to testify. She's appealing that now. I think she's going to lose that appeal because being a defendant is different than being a witness. The question as to whether Ivanka Trump has to be a witness is, does she have relevant information here? The AG's office alleges that Ivanka Trump was involved in a transaction involving one of Donald Trump's hotels in Washington, D.C., and they say she has relevant information. So I believe she's going to lose her appeal, and I believe she will be made to take the stand and testify.